Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello and welcome to Palace Intrigue. I am your host, Mark Francis. Omid Scobe has reported that a number of high-profile stars, including Taylor Swift, declined invitations to perform at King Charles' coronation concert. Discussing the current state of the royal family in his book, Endgame, Inside the Royal Family and the Monarchy's Fight for Survival, Scobe said, "I don't think that this is the end of the monarchy, but I do think we've reached a pivotal moment where it is perhaps the end of the monarchy as we know it." Scobe writes about challenges faced in organizing the coronation concert, suggesting that King Charles lacks the requisite gravitas to attract celebrity support. He states, "Even finding entertainment for King Charles' coronation court at Windsor Castle proved a challenge for the organizers. The lists of acts who declined the invitation to perform was long and included Sir Elton John, Harry Styles, the Spice Girls, Adele, Taylor Swift, and Ed Sheeran." He contrasts this with the array of stars who performed for Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee, including Queen with Adam Lambert, Alicia Keys, Sir Rod Stewart, Diana Ross, and Sir Elton John. At the time of the coronation concert on May 6, Swift was in Nashville for her Eras Tour shows. Scobe remarks that these refusals may seem minor, but they could signify a deeper issue, commenting, "In our era of celebrity obsession and pop culture icons, if Elton and Harry can't be bothered, why should we be?" The coronation concert eventually featured performances by Katy Perry, Lionel Richie, Andrea Bocelli, Welsh bass baritone Sabrina Turfel, singer-songwriter Freya Ridings, and classic soul composer Alexis French. Swifts took to social media to defend Taylor. One wrote, "Thank God it would have been so embarrassing saying that my show got cancelled because of some old British guy." In a recent interview with The Independent, Scobe discussed the financial challenges faced by the Sussexes following their move to the United States in 2020. Scobe stated that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's decision to sign deals with companies like Spotify and Netflix was driven by financial pressure after they relocated from the UK. Scobe elaborated that this pressure arose partly in response to Prince Harry's allegations of Prince William's communications team leaking stories about him and Meghan to the British press. He quoted senior aides saying, "If you don't stop poking into this, you're going to face the consequences." This led the couple to being cut off from all financial support, including security, which Prince Charles was funding privately. That sends someone into a spin of having to sign a whole bunch of deals. He also mentioned their reportedly $25 million Spotify deal, which he said fell apart due to creative differences. Scobe explained, "Neither of the two expected executives to turn down so many of their ideas. The streamer said a company source was only interested in paying up for juicy goods that could generate major headlines and bring in subscriptions. Spotify was looking for headline-grabbing, media-stirring content, but this wasn't in line with Harry and Meghan's intentions. Obviously, they had money, but they needed serious money for a proper roof over their heads and security. But ultimately, Spotify were looking for headline-grabbing, media-stirring content, and that's not the direction that the couple wanted to go in, so it fell apart." In the same interview, Scobe addressed the perception that he is Meghan's mouthpiece or cheerleader, a label he frequently confronts. "I wish that was true because it would have made my access much easier," he said, adding, "I've always been transparent. I've had a great relationship with their team over the years, and we have friends in common." Scobe told Vanity Fair, "The royal family remains largely unchallenged by a large crop of the mainstream British print press, and in their eyes, it is a huge advantage. This is not a choir of individuals that they have to or need to answer back to. That creates a very comfortable space for the royal family to exist unchallenged and be celebrated at every moment. I know I don't speak for all royal correspondents, but for a number, as long as their access continues, that's all that matters. If they turn a blind eye to something, then so be it. But this is not a world or a country that is led by narratives and opinions of just 10 newspapers. The press reaches further and wider and across so many other platforms. And so the royal family finds themselves in positions where they are challenged through some of the pieces by other journalists outside that sort of strict inner British media circle, including myself. Rather than embrace that or try and use that as an opportunity to grow and evolve and perhaps start to keep up with our rapidly evolving world, it's much easier to turn back to what you know. The press that will give them an easier ride in the UK will also fight their battles for them. The British press is sort of doing the family's bidding, and I'm not saying they've been asked to do so. As far as I'm aware, it is completely voluntary. But it's all part of that incredibly toxic relationship, which I question in the book. Is it even necessary at this point when most of these publications are at death's door? I don't think the royal family realizes that they're actually keeping them in business with this. Palace Intrigue will be right back. In light of Omid Scobe's Endgame, royal commentator Angela Levin has made striking remarks about Meghan Markle. Levin is quoted as saying, "You can feel her knocking at Catherine, who is absolutely wonderful and marvellous in the royal family. She is determined to smash the royal family to pieces." Levin further criticised Meghan's approach when she joined the royal family, stating, "When she joined the family, she felt she would be there to tell the Queen how to modernise it and bring it up to date. She is furious still that nobody took any notice of her." Regarding Prince Harry, Levin commented, "I think it's his endgame, actually. I think people will hate having anything to do with him, certainly the royal family." Scobe in Endgame suggests that Princess Kate represents the last shiny thing in the royal family, describing her as a Stepford-like royal wife. He also touches on the lack of support Meghan allegedly received, writing, "At the very least, the institution ignored Meghan when she was in pain." Scobe's book discusses the challenges Meghan faced within the royal family, including her outspoken nature, which he claims was not well received. They wanted Meghan to just go with everything that was suggested and not create any additional work. It was a combination of her not conforming with how women marrying into the family are expected to behave, and certain individuals just being lazy. Sources close to the royal family provided more controversial statements. A source close to Prince William is quoted, "He feels he has lost Harry and doesn't want to know this version of him." In the Daily Mail, Maureen Callahan writes, "This latest go-round, Omid Scobe's Endgame, is an even meaner, bitchier burn book, one full of misogyny and monarchical slights. As for Meghan," Scobe writes, "the full story is still emerging." Is it? Because in all 369 pages, Endgame, retail price $32, offers no information about our Duchess of Despair and Disparagement. We are, however, given yet more promises of her great things to come. It is said Meghan has abandoned that much-hyped plan to relaunch her vapid lifestyle blog, The Tig, and will instead create something more accessible, rooted in her love of details, curating, hosting life's simple pleasures and family. That is one gelatinous, gooey mission statement. He is hoping Meghan can accomplish all that while engaged in similar Californian vagaries, such as holding space, setting intentions, standing in power, and speaking her truth. As for hapless Harry, Scobe assures us, as with Meghan, that despite Harry's endless disclosures, including that 125,000-word, 416-page memoir, we still don't know him either. The Duke of Sussex, he writes, is on a mission to reclaim his story, his life, and his image from the media and the public's fantastical accounts. Is that right? I'd say we in America know Harry and Meghan all too well, and we have heard quite enough. And there you have it. If you'd like to email us, our address is thepalaceintrigue@gmail.com. Please follow us on Spotify, Apple, or your app of choice. And if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. I'm Mark Francis. My thanks to John McDermott. This is Palace Intrigue. Good times.